Hello and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, BlindBat8719. On today's video, I'll be playing for you my Narset of the Ancient Way Cycling deck, this time set for Historic, which gave us some new cards to play with the Amonkhet Remastered release. But before I go into the deck, I would just like to make a small ask of my audience and ask you guys to subscribe to the channel to help me grow. And with that ask out of the way, let's go into the deck tech. So Narset of the Ancient Way is a planeswalker from Ikoria. It's a generic blue, red, white. 4 loyalty when it comes in. +1, gain 2 life. Add red, white, or blue. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. -2, draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. And -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the emblem deals 2 damage to any target. I've talked a lot about my Narset deck, and since this is Brawl week, we only have 1 week to play these things, so I want to try to get these videos out really quickly. So if you do like the deck, you can get a chance to try to play it for yourself before the event ends. So I'll put a link in the corner here with the most current build that I have of Narset, and probably another link as well to an older build of how I've built throughout the standard formats. Everything to the right here is currently in standard and what I normally have in the deck. Everything in this column here is all the new stuff we got by it being historic. So I'm playing one of the cycling lands from Onslaught, which I believe came out, I think in one of the anthologies. Irrigated Farmland from Amonkhet Remastered. Censor, Forsake the Worldly, Countervailing Winds, Nimble Obstructionist, Cast Out, Settle the Wreckage, Wrath of God, Hieroglyphic Illumination, Oketra's Attendant. I'm playing Niv-Mizzet Perun as another win con. Approach of the Second Sun, which I'm looking forward to beating somebody with this deck using this card, and Lay Claim. There are a couple other payoffs and cycling-centric cards. However, I actually don't have enough wild cards, and I wasn't sure they were worth the justification for something that's only around once in a while for Historic Brawl to use my wild cards on those. Mana base wise, 3 plains, 3 islands, 3 mountains, Hollow Fountain, Steam Vent, Sulphur Falls, Sacred Foundry, Raugrin Triome, Command Tower, and Fabled Passage. We're running 20 lands, 21 if you include the Seagate Restoration there. So if you have any questions about the deck or any certain card choices, feel free to ask me those questions in the comments section below. I'll definitely answer any questions people have about the deck. But with the deck tech out of the way, let's jump into the arena for some brawls. Alright, I'm going to keep this hand. We're playing against ChunkieWunkie, piloting a Kinnan, Bonder, Prodigy deck. So these decks tend to ramp out fast, and in the last standard Brawl format, this thing was a monster. With 3 lands and a Wrath of God, this hand is a keep. We got a couple cyclers here that help us get through some stuff early on to hopefully get that 4th land, so I'm going to keep this for now. Yeah, so with Kinnan, we're going to expect a lot of early mana dorks to try to get his ramp on, and then basically have him abuse his activated ability for 7 mana. All right, say hello to our opponent, and we'll lead off with the Irrigated Farmland since that comes into play tapped. Alright, Memorial to Unity. Okay. Alright, so let's go with the Command Tower. I was having a little jawing back and forth with him. And let's just pass the turn here. And we'll probably want to cycle. The Forsake the Worldly is actually good for us because that lets us deal with some problematic permanents he might actually have. Mindstone is fine. Let's cycle the Startling Development. Fires of Invention is really good for us too. Okay. So we have Island and the turn. So I would say we're probably going to, unless something's really the Countervailing Winds, unless we can probably stop a Kinnan here, Oracle of Moldiah. We're going to counter that here. So Kinnan pumps creatures that tap for mana. So if he had a lot more mana dorks, I would make more of an effort to let that resolve. But since he'd be actually playing lands off the top, that we can't interact with that. That's going to put him too far ahead for us. Forsake the Worldly or Shredded Sails. I don't think Exile is going to matter. Enchantment, don't think we have to worry about. So I'm going to cycle. Actually, yeah, I'm going to cycle Forsake the Worldly now. Just in the off chance we draw a land. We don't get a land. Okay. Because now we're trying to get to that 4th land drop if we can. We're going to have a good Zenith Flare. That's going to go off, thankfully. Alright, so they played out Kinnan, Spinning Wheel, and a Temple of Mystery, scrying to the bottom. Fourth land comes into play tapped. These tap for double, so I would say our best bet for right now is to have the Forgotten Cave come into play tapped and blow up. And I'm going to go with the Spinning Wheel here, as that adds mana of color. Alright. Now thinking about some of our follow-up plays, I'm looking at this Rooting Moloch as a possibility, as something that I'm going to want to maybe see if there's anything I can bring back.
Power surges through these lands.
Alright, Nissa can definitely be a problem here. I believe this says whenever... This non-land? Non-land permanent. So the lands don't add extra stuff. So now the question becomes, do we blow up the board now? Because his doesn't have any islands that lets him pump... no, sorry, there's no forest for him to get double mana on some of his stuff. Alright, so here I'd say let's go with Fires. We go with Narset, we can't wipe the board. Let's go with Wrath here. Since with Nissa out, if he wanted to, our opponent can, with Nissa, tap a land for mana, untap it with Nissa, and then be able to use Kinnan's ability. Carnage Tyrant, Hexproof. Alright.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Alright, so we're going to go with Narset here.
Compassion and understanding.
Let's draw a card.
Strike
Approach of
with
the second sun.
mind of the dragon.
Can't cast that, but that would be a way for us to maybe win. I would say let's use the Lay Claim here. And that will deal with...
I can help you no longer.
Nissa. We don't mind if we lose Narset, because now that we have Fires out, we can spend more time. Because we can, with the Fires out, she only caught, we don't have to pay with the tax, so that's good. Zenith Flares up a little bit. I think at this point, we have another spell we can cast. I think with the Moloch 5, we can't cast. We need to figure out something, a 6-drop we could cast. Lay Claim was not going to work. Countervailing Winds. I think we're going to have to wait on him. I think here I'm going to just cycle him. Because we do get another spell to cast. Alright, well, let's just play the Moloch then, I guess. And go for a... probably the Frostveil Ambush. We can't save her, so we might as well let her go. We can pay 2 next turn to use her again. I'm really hoping I'm planning on using the Zenith Flare to help us stick around a little bit longer. Take the action. Niv Mizzet. Alright. So this is definitely one that can help us out a little bit here. Alright. So we'll tap down Kinnan, and we'll tap down the island. And let's kill Kinnan here. Now that we drew the Censor, we can cycle this, since we can't use counter spells with Fires. So Kinnan's not a concern anymore. Going to swing there. Try to get some damage going. So I'm going to end the turn there. So this way, with Lonely Sandbar, we can cast Approach from the Second Sun, and then work our way towards surviving long enough. I think a Zenith Flare will probably be going off against our opponent real quick. If we absolutely need to, we can cycle the Lonely Sandbar to start drawing some cards. Oof. Alright, yes, so that is totally fine. I forgot about Mass Manipulation. So we're going to draw a card here. Let's see what happens. We draw an island. Let's do a little damage to you. And that will resolve. It looks like Our 2 spells next turn are going to be Xenoflare and Approach at the Second Sun. The reason why I don't want to cycle the Lonely Sandbar right now because that'll make it faster for us to get to Approach. Let's cast Approach at the Second Sun for free. Totally fine. Let's cycle the Lonely Sandbar. It's already our first spell. Oh, we should have cycled... Oh wait, cycling Godzilla is not a good idea. We actually would have to cast him. We're at 16. Oh, that gained us life? Otherwise gains... Oh, I forgot I gained life. That's awesome. Alright, yeah, we're still going to Xenoflare with Mizzet. That's just going to be bad for us. So we can't actually cycle Godzilla, as that would mean we lose the possibility of getting to our Approach of the Second Sun too soon. So we will have to probably be one of the cards we'll be casting next turn. Ideally, if we can draw one of the cards, our big card draw spells, that'd be great. Otherwise, we're looking at a Narset that can draw some stuff. That'll get recovered. So we have to get 6 cards deep. Nissa, alright, that's fine. He does have the mana. Okay, that's fine. We're looking at 10, but we'll take the 7 if we need to, and we'll just block the land. It's the Rooting Moloch's a 4/4.
Behold, nature's true power.
I think they're just trying to force through damage, so... Alright, what do we draw? Let's start with Narset. Draw another card here.
Consider the future, then strike.
I'm gonna decline doing that. We're gonna cycle Ominous Seas. Cycle Neutralize here. Alright, it's a shame we can't do the Nibble Obstructionist. We're 2 cards away. We'll get there next turn. Cast the alternative cost. I think getting rid of Nissa... So, the reason why I wanted to at least attack and get rid of Nissa is I would be afraid that if they happen to have some bounce spells and deal with our board, not dealing with this when we had the chance was a missed opportunity. You know, yes, they have the land here, and I can still block here. They go after Narset, totally fine because we can still recast her. Frilled Mystic. He's going to be taking the Frilled Mystic. But I think this is as long as you cast, so you need to stifle the actual trigger. No blocks. Totally fine with that.
Even masters make mistakes.
So, let's cycle the Triome. And cast Approach of the Second Sun. Alright, we got our first Approach of the Second Sun win. Yay! Alright, we're going to keep this. With the cycling deck, we can usually keep a hand that has 2 lands in it, per se. We have a Valiant Rescuer we can use to kind of start getting some value. It's everything kind of cycles for 2 except for the Illumination, but that seems fine. We're playing against Naldris, piloting a Ashaya Soul of the Wild deck. So I really don't know what to expect, but my first thoughts are always going to be mono green ramp, as well as a landfall heavy deck, because that would make it great since I have Ashaya as your commander. Alright, maybe they're off to a slow start too, which is nice. Alright, so let's play out the Valiant Rescuer. He may die. This was definitely a powerful card in Ikoria Limited. So if our opponent is familiar with that... Oh, Yorvo. Nice, okay. Alrighty. Well, he's not ramping. It gets tricky. I want to play out the Crystal. But I think I'm better off keeping up Neutralize, just in case of, say, something like Questing Beast. And if, worst case, I get fooled and nothing bad happens, Like, I don't think the Visionary is that bad. It's going to pump Yorvo, sure. But at this point, then, I just cycle the Hieroglyphics. Even the Late Claim, I could cycle both of these, and I'm good. So let's just cycle the Late Claim. Give us a chump blocker. And we block there. I realize now I probably could have played the Crystal then if I'm going to have the chump, if I'm looking just for the chumps. 5. I don't want to necessarily get rid of the Dream Trawler here. I want to probably get to a board wipe. If I pay out 2 for the Ominous Seas, I can't use the counter spell cast. Alright, so I think I'm just going to... I could offer a trade, but he'll probably just take it. So I'm just going to pass here. I could always cycle the cast out. I could actually even just use the cast out. So I think that taking the 5 here is good. No blocks. And if our opponent does nothing, then we will cast out the Yorvo. If they try to cast their commander, we counter it. Bastard Surge. I think that that one's worth... you know, I do think it's worth countering. But that just gives them more mana to cast big things that we will be able to actually handle. So we'll let that resolve. And I think what we'll do here is we will just draw 2 cards. Alright, Steam Vents. And a Fable Passage. So that gives us, if we play out Narset, that gives us 4 mana. We go with the Ominous Seas here now. It gives us 3 mana left over. No double blue though. Okay. So let's pay the 2 life. Let's play out the Ominous Seas. Start working towards our own big guy. So we're looking at a 7/7 commander potentially. Actually, no, 9 to a 10 drop commander. No attacks. And I feel like this option still leaves us pretty flexible. 2 mana. Are they going to try to fight? Description of Abundance. Target creature you control fights, target creature you don't control. Oh man. If we counter this... Let's counter this. That's fine. 7 brings us to 11. We're definitely going to start doing a few things. No blocks. Nothing has trample just yet. So we'll take the hit. It's possible I should have blocked there, but I'm pretty liberal with my life total usually. Alright, Arcane Signet. Alright, Fabled Passage. Let's activate this now. Let's stick with white. We do out the Signet. That leaves us with 1, 2, 3. Leaves us with 5 mana. So that lets us cycle Boon. And still be able to play out the cast out. So it's possibly, again, I have to worry about Rogue Intervention. Thrashing Brontodon, that's fine. So let's give them a reason to worry about something they want to blow up. But at least with cast out, if this resolves, yep, I figured there's a Heroic Intervention in there somewhere. Let's just cycle the Boon. Startling Development. Okay. Yeah, I figured they had that. Alright, block the 12. We take the 8. I'd have to cycle 2 times. We have 6, we can cycle. Okay. Block here. Because we can still play out Dream Trawler next turn. Fires. If I play out Fires, it gives me Dream Trawler for free. So, I think getting Dream Trawler for free is good. Startling Development this turn to get 1 blocker. We approach with the second sun. Okay. No attacks. End the turn. Now our opponent has to decide whether the Ominous Seas is more of a concern or if the Fires of Invention is. Let's cycle the crystal. Get another chump blocker. And it's entirely possible they give their stuff trample and we die. Not yet then. So Dream Troll is going to swing in the air, hopefully to gain us some life. It's very well possible too we're going to look at try to go in here with approach at the second sun. Okay. Oh, alright, so Dream Trawler plan may not work as well right now since that has protection. Oh, please blow up the the Ominous Seas. Okay, that one hurts. So now the question becomes, can we gain enough life to survive? This gives us 7 life, and we still have the 1 mana. If I swing with the Dream Troll, that'll gain us some more life. Draws us another card closer. So that'll buy us some more time. I can then cycle as well. So let's go with the Dream Troller here. We'll sacrifice. Well, this could be totally wrong about sacrificing her. But I think being able to draw up sooner is better. And let's cycle this now to gain more life. We have a Censor, that's good. That was a mistake. I mentioned about the protection. Because it has protection, it doesn't actually deal any damage. So now we can take the 2 damage from the Llanowar Visionary if we need to. But we really need to draw to that approach of the second sun really quickly. Or get to one of our board wipes really quickly. Ashaya is there. Yorvo has to go. I have to block Yorvo there, and this has to trade here. We are. Alright, so we have to hope we're about 5 cards away. Rooting Moloch. Does that get us anything back that we can use? Not this turn. The lay claim is the best option. So let's cycle the Censor. Let's cycle the Go for Blood. Alright, we have a Settle the Wreckage. So we kind of have to make it believe like we actually have some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I guess I gotta cycle the Rooting Moloch. And kind of say like that's it and hope they just get greedy and they attack with everybody. Alright. Oof, we dodged a bullet there. So they should know that they have the approach next turn. So it's a matter of whether they concede this or not. I mean, they could replay out their commander, but since nothing has haste that I can think of, besides Questing Beast, we should be safer right now. It's a good game to our opponent. Yep. Approach of the second sun, getting us out of another game. Oh boy. Okay, so the Mulligan decision largely depends on who we're playing against. So we're playing against LK96, piloting a Muxus Goblin Grandee deck. I haven't seen this one before in terms as a commander, but if you've played Historic enough, Goblins, he is the big bad scary creature from Goblins. So we want something. Censor doesn't do enough in the early game, and I mean, if we were to keep this hand, we'd probably have to use a Splendor Mare, but I feel like they just ramp out the Muxus so quickly. I'm going to take a mulligan here. I feel better with having a neutralized, at least I can stop a Muxus, and I can cycle the Godzilla early with a Felidar Retreat to start building a board. It's not... You could argue whether the other one was better or not, but this one I feel like has a clear path to try to stay alive. Street Cadet. Alright, put out the island. We'll pass the turn here. We don't have to worry about the naturalized... Oh, sorry, Muxus just yet, so neutralized. We can wait a turn for Suspicious Snoop. Alright, they have a wily one they're getting next. Make the hit. Cycle Godzilla now. Opposing Vantasaur is good. Alright, so 3. Play the crystal here. End the turn. Wily Goblin and Goblin Boom Blaster. Destroy target non-basic land. Yep, that's definitely gonna happen. So we definitely need to. Okay. Firebrand. I'm gonna cycle the Vantasaur mostly because it's we're less likely to cast it. I think our best bet here is to go with that, and there's nothing we can tap. Yeah. All right, so let's enter tap then. Now this scenario is also an argument you could have made that why I should have cycled the Hieroglyphic Illumination, because it requires a blue, whereas imposing Vantasaur was generic. So this would be a situation where I could have cycled, still been able to cycle with the Foundry. I mean, I think saving the 2 life is still probably worth it. Ow. Alright, so I think they're a little shy on lands and they're trying to get there. So, yeah, I think a board wipe here will save us a lot of grief. Does he have haste? Muxus does not have haste. Now, at least with the 2-2, we can slow things down a little bit. Oh, dang. Alright. Nice. So Thorbane, that's a lot of hurt. Always partial to fires because it's free stuff. So let's go with fires. Let's play out Narset.
Compassion and understanding
let's try
above all else. Strike
Flourishing
with the
Fox?
cunning mind of the dragon.
I think we're discarding. All right, we gotta get rid of the Moloch. Let's pass the turn, and let's see what my opponent thinks. Otherwise, they kind of have it on board. But maybe they'll get scared and they'll go after Narset and buy us a little bit of time. Let's kick. Blow up the Foundry, sure. Ah, he got it. All right. What would we have drawn if I had played it differently? Alright, with a command tower. Okay. Good game. Alrighty, and that is the video for today. Overall, we went 2-1, both wins coming from Approach of the Second Sun. We lost to the Goblins. I probably should have maybe mulliganed harder for a board wipe to have in hand to deal with the flood on the board. I thought we could have kind of gotten there. It didn't work out in our favor. But I always like the cycling deck. I think it's a very fun build. The idea of drawing the cards. When I get more wild cards, I might get some of the other more cycling-centric payoffs to help out with the deck. But I had a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think of the deck in the comment section down below. How would you build the cycling deck? What decisions would you make? What cards would you include in here as well? So let me know down in the comments. I would like to hear that stuff. Again, any questions about how I built the deck, also ask those. I'll answer any of those sort of questions. If you like the video, please click the thumbs up icon down below. If you really like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell icon for notifications. I upload Brawl videos on a weekly basis. This week's a little bit special. It's Historic Brawl week, so I'm going to try and put up about 3 videos this week to give you guys a chance to try out these decks before the event ends. As always, thanks for visiting the Batcave, and have a great day.